Hello, folks, and welcome back to the Inside the Mix podcast. And it is the Christmas special. It only seems like the Halloween special was a few weeks ago, which it actually was at the point of recording this. So if you are a new listener, make sure you hit that follow button on your podcast player of choice. And if you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you hit subscribe and notify so you know when we go live with these episodes and also when I release some new music, which I have done recently. And if you are a returning listener or viewer, as always, a big welcome back. Now, this is the Christmas special. So for those of you not watching this on YouTube, I'm going to go around and say who we have. So we've got Valley Lights, we've got Sub Neon, we've got R9, we've got Neon Highway, and we've got Rogue Effects. And everybody is in some form of Christmas attire. R9 is wearing a Christmas dress on his head. We've got Valley Lights has got a Santa's hat. We've got some flashing lights for Sub Neon. We've got a Santa's hat with Andrew. Rogue Effects as well. I love the Ghostbusters jumping out. I was watching the just now. I was trying to come up with a montage scene for some social media, and I chose the Ghostbusters montage bits just before they come to the tower and whatnot. Absolutely love it. In fact, I might do Ghostbusters too. Anyway, we are live on YouTube. I think it's gone live. It has. So I'm going to dip in and out of there throughout this, but. The first song. So if you're unfamiliar with this format, folks, what happens is each artist, producer will, they have submitted 30 seconds of a piece of work and we're going to listen to it and then we just chat about it afterwards. So the first one is Sub Neon. What have we got coming up, Sub Neon?
That's a really good question. I can't actually remember. It's a track that I've been messing around with for about a week and a half now. I have got a short-term passion for kind of bouncy bass at the minute, and I'm seeing what I can do with layering some kind of calmer sounds over the top of that. So I don't know what this is called yet. The working title is Bass Doctor. It's not going to be called that. So if there's to what it could be called, it would be really really useful to hear your feedback. So yeah, this section is kind of a variation on the verse, because I've been posting little bits of this all over social media for the last couple. So yeah, be interested to see what you think.
Ace, man. Here we go. So this is working title, Bass Doctor. Here we go. Lovely stuff, mate. I'm going to flip it this time. I'm going to throw it straight out to the room. So let's go. Neon Highway, what are your thoughts?
It's it's incredible, man. It sounds incredible. I feel like every time I get a preview of one of your tracks, that's instantly where I go. But it always sounds that good right from the beginning. I've got nothing to add to that. I'm just more curious to see where it's going to go next. Is that going to be the start of the track? Are you going to bounce straight in with that, or have you got any sort of build up?
I think it's going to be quite similar to that. Yeah, the starts with the bass and then it slaps in with the drums straight afterwards. But it's got quite a melodic chorus as well. So yeah, but I'm quite into the whole just get to the point thing, because all my tracks so far have had like a minute's worth of intro, and I don't know. I wonder whether that's a bad thing when people are kind of scrolling through and everything. If it's got kind of a build up, you know, do you lose people's attention? That would be an interesting question to pose to everyone, really. I mean, you know, in this short term attention world that we live in, our intros no longer as relevant as they used to be. You know, so you just get into the groove as quickly as you possibly can. You know,
I think that's
again. I've taken a lot of inspiration off Tim's Copper Sun track because it just launches straight into it. And when I hear that, I'm like, God, why do my tracks not do that? I'm always doing some kind of build up. I'm trying to do this. And do you know what? Copper Sun just hits from the get go. And I think your track as well would be boom right in there, amazing. And it's something I need to do a lot more of. Just get in there and get people hooked ASAP.
There's a lot. I've read a lot about that, and I've seen a lot on social media, sort of like short clips, people saying that to get to the point quickly. Specifically, if you want people to discover your music, they're probably not gonna. I mean, this is a sweeping statement, but I mean, I've got long intros, and then somebody said it to me. They were like, "Mark, you just get rid of that first bit there." I've got it for one of my songs now. I think it was Drew Knight who said it. He was like, "Just get rid of that intro bit. Just get straight to the point." That way, once you've got an audience, then they know your music, and then they're more likely to listen to that longer intro. So yeah, 100%, man, totally agree. But your stuff kicks in straight away, and it immediately grabs anyway. Sort of like you've immediately got all that going on. That's a really bad example, but
that was amazing. Can you
it was. I should record that and release a song. R9, what are your thoughts?
I think it's got that energy that I expect of your track straight from the get go. It has got a bounce as well. Feel that bounce in the groove, and that I love. And I mean, 5 bass lines, 6 bass lines have we got?
No, there's only 2 on
kill me, man. Great.
On the stabby bass, but then there's a horn and a sub bass, so there's actually 4 on this one. So
yeah. No, but it's amazing how you make those low end elements work. Is I think your battle with each track, and it's kind of, really do enjoy making that work. But it's not that there's not lots of I think like ever I really like it. As Carl said, it's hard to sort of, comment anything bad about or anything to improve or change about what you've got. Fantastic. But I guess the biggest thing is in the final piece, isn't it? Is getting that the rise and keeping you engaged, I mean, it's interesting. Should things come straight in and kick straight in, there's a lot to say that we don't have great attention spans for long beginnings, but it's amazing that I can actually make something succinct and quick on it takes me forever to say anything. So, 5 hours later, and I might have if I can do it musically, that's a miracle, because I never do it. It's I think it's got real legs, this one. It's great. My feeling.
Lovely stuff.
There we go.
Thank you. Aisle 9. Let's go with a newcomer today to the producers pub. I totally forgot where I was then. We've got Kai, Valley Lights. Welcome. And what are your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. No, it's great to be here. I thought it sounded amazing, man. I love funk, like 80s funk, and you had that throbbing bass element to it, but it had some I had the fucking stank face going on. I was like, yeah, this has a groove to it. This feels good. It wasn't like straight outrun or something. It had a real kind of just feeling to it, and I really appreciated that. And yeah, I mean, great start. And like you were saying, man, who knows what the right direction to go is. Do you cater to the Spotify market where you got to hook them in 5 seconds? I just try to be true to myself. And if you feel like it needs an intro, do an intro. And for others, if you want to just push it for, accessibility, do that. But at the end of the day, do what feels right for the song, and fuck everybody else. That's what I say.
Do you know what? That's probably the best advice I've ever had. I think to be honest, I am not the biggest fan of Spotify either. And if it feels like a particular something in the track, I'm gonna do it. It's just an interesting talking point, because I mean, I'm not gonna get 20,000 or 50,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. That's not the objective. This whole thing is about catharsis and enjoyment and stuff. So if I ever start shaping a track in a way that is for someone else, then I've kind of lost the point of this. Appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you, man. I really dug the track, and yeah, keep doing it, man.
Just whatever you
I like-
do, don't sell out and wear a dress on your head. That's all I say.
No.
That's peer pressure. Peer pressure
Yeah,
right
aisle 9 is apparently joining the Illuminati.
They have been in touch.
I love your description there, the use of the phrase stank face. I think that's the first on the podcast, man. And I love it. I love the use. That's a great way to say that you're digging a track, man.
Yeah, when you're just like,
What?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a stank face. I
Yeah,
like it.
yeah. I know the one. I know the one. Andrew, Rogue Effects. What are your thoughts, buddy? You're muted, mate. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah. I mean, Sub Neon always has that, characteristic bass, and yeah, funkier maybe than some of the previous tracks. It's got a bit of a buddy cop kind of feel to it. I thought listening to it, kind of late 80s buddy cop movie. Thought it sounded absolutely great. Definitely a one to release. I think short build up straight into it, a couple of drops, and yeah, I think you're home and dry with that one. Really good.
Nice one, thank you. Do you know what's really annoying is that there's it's like a bit of a reverse synth in after it kicks in. I only deleted it earlier today and then saved it, so I've now got to go. I can't remember which VST it's connected to. I've got to go through about 8,000 presets to try and find it again. But yeah, so I thought I'd share that. That was really boring. I'll shut up now.
So
Sharing is scary.
one thing, like, don't you save sequentially?
Oh,
So
normally
every
I do, yeah.
time you
Normally I
make
do.
a change, you save in a, yeah.
Yeah, there was, yeah, but not this time. There was just one time.
It's always the one time you
Saved
don't do it, isn't it?
sequentially.
Yeah.
Because that
Yeah.
sort of lob back to a sort of, version but session was, and then hopefully I've
Yeah.
still got that preset. Of course, it doesn't always work. Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
think
I
I normally have about 25 to 35. Yeah, I normally have like 25 to 35 different versions of the track. This one I've got one, because I've been working on it for a week. So I'm
Right.
like, oh, come on. Never mind.
Okay, gents. Let's thank you very much, Neon and everyone. Let's press on as next we have Neon Highway. What have we got coming up, buddy?
So this is a track I've been working on for about a month or two. It's pretty much done. It's really sort of spawned from what happens in the early hours of the morning, when the city has gone quiet and there's really nobody out in the streets. Films like Martin Scorsese's After Hours, Martin Scorsese's Bringing Out the Dead, Stanley Kubrick's Eyes Wide Shut, like kind of midnight, what's going on. So the track is called After Hours, and I've tried to kind of capture that really subdued kind of midnight kind of feeling. It does switch up a bit, kind of keep the interest throughout, but I'm struggling a bit with the 30 seconds that I've sent. So about 15 seconds into this clip, it changes. It's kind of like a break in the track, and I don't think the break works. The music works, but I need some sort of transition. I just can't figure out the transition. So really sort of looking to get anyone's advice on how I can transition this a bit better.
Cool, man. Excellent stuff. Cool. Let's have a listen. Here we go. Cool, mate. My immediate thoughts were, because I was listening out for those 15 seconds, was it like some sort of string build or some like synth string build or something that's slowly building, maybe a filter sweep or something along those lines. That way you've got something else building up towards that break. And then I mean, what I generally do is when a break comes in, I have some sort of weird cinematic impact stuff going on, but that's the general direction my stuff goes. But I'm definitely hearing, like, if you're going to have a break, you kind of want something to build with it. So it just, I knew it was coming because you told us. But if you had that going up, the audience is kind of then expecting it a bit. But that's my immediate thought.
Signals them in that direction.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a good show, mate. It's a good show.
Giving them those sort of like, this is potentially coming up next, or you could just do that and then totally not do it, which would throw them off even more. But let's throw it around. Let's go with Sub Neon. Matt, what are your thoughts? Those lights, man.
I mean, I know it's putting me off. It's a good job I don't have epilepsy, isn't it? Really. I really liked it. I think, but I see what you mean about the transition. I wonder whether the keys that you've got leading up to where the bass comes in, you could maybe slap a bit more reverb on and make more of the space there.
Yeah.
So let it kind of maybe ring out a little bit longer, and then automate the volume or the filter sweep or something like that to bring the bass in organically, because it kind of just comes straight in. So that would be my only suggestion, but it sounds amazing. And
that is
your description sounds amazing.
Yeah, cheers, man. Thanks for that. And interestingly, that feedback is pretty much word for word what Clinton gave me about an hour ago.
Oh, really?
So,
Wow.
so
Okay, well,
we're going along the same lines there. So no, that's good shout. Good shout. I tried working it after Clinton saying that, and I just couldn't get it right. But what you've kind of said does help to add a bit more context there. So I'm going to give that a shot. Cheers, man.
Cool. Yeah, no worries.
Cool. Andrew, Rogue Effects. What are your thoughts, buddy? You're muted again, mate.
Button. I do this all at work as well. I'm on. So it's always me that hasn't unmuted. So when I first started out, it's had a bit of you from? Is it Glasgow? You're from?
Yeah.
That way. Yeah. The Blue Nile. I think they're a Glasgow band.
Yeah.
From the 80s. Yeah, definitely had a kind of 80s style.
Downtown Lights
kind of sound. That kind of feel to it. And so I was expecting it to go like, through that. I thought, yeah, really cool. And then it went into a different way, it's kind of different kind of genre, I guess. It went into the more outrun type of music, which is not my forte. It's not really what I know too well. So the first part of it, I was like, yeah, love that. And then I went to an area that I was like, okay, well, I wasn't expecting that. So that's that. I guess that's a good thing. So I certainly wasn't expecting it. But yeah, I loved the first part, and the second part, I preferred the first part. But I like it all. But just being honest, that the first part of it was really great of music, and I think that's so if I was doing something, I would go down that route. I think it was that could be a really excellent song as a full song in that way of doing it. So yeah.
I think, the first sort of run at the demo of that was pretty much that, and I was just like, this is losing interest. So I needed to kind of switch up the tempo, put a few more kind of bits into it, and there's almost like a pre-chorus that's built on the verse. It opens up the filter a bit. So structurally, it's pretty much there. I'm just trying to find that transition in that break which occurs about 2/3 of the way through the song, but. When I start at that break and listen from there, it's perfect. I can listen to that and go, right, that's perfect from there to the end of the song. I just need that transition. But yeah, that's cool, man. And then thanks for the kind words. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.
Excellent. Thanks, buddy. Kai, Valley Lights, what are your thoughts, buddy?
I thought it was cool, man. And yeah, definitely contrasting pieces. And I was kind of like on the other side of the spectrum. Like Mark was talking about how he heard kind of like a build-up, some strings or whatever to it. And for me, it was more like you have that sort of more chill section up front. And then I almost just hear it sort of reverbing out a little bit, just fading. And then it just like kicks you in the head with that more intense bass. So I was hearing kind of more of like a fade, and then boom, you get hit with that kind of more intense thing, as opposed to like building into it. It's sort of like you're lulled into this chill kind of ambient feeling, and then and then you just get kicked in the head with that bass. So
Yeah,
that's kind of how I. Yeah, go
almost kind of what like Sub Neon was saying, but do it a bar earlier or
Yeah.
a couple of beats up. Yeah, that's cool. That's good shout. Yep.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think it sounds great, and you know, I think it's good to just have, you know, just have those changes in your song. So if that's kind of the feeling you're going for, I think, yeah, as long as you weave it together properly, then it's going to be seamless and it's all going to be connected very well. And yeah, I thought it was sick, man.
Nice one. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Ace. And finally, R9.
Really like the first part. I think it sounds great. I really like the snare reverb. Don't change that. It's really ideal.
Good. I was a wee bit worried about that,
snare
so
to
I'm glad
like
you picked up on that.
Yeah, really like that. Obviously, it sort of changes from a sort of half time to a sort of, you know, sort of straight on sort of four to the floor kind of vibe, doesn't it? So your snares changing from the third beat to the second and fourth or whatever, like, something like that, all depending on how you see it, change tempo. But like, you know, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think when you've got that, I think sort of building intensity at the end of that, with, you know, I mean, sweeps, filters, reverse cymbals, all kinds of things that will work to kind of create a build up, you know, is a good idea. And I really like the snare thing that's going on there. But I think sometimes like a little drop, like it can even be just a beat, like something. You may find things that can come out just before it comes in. So the kick can drop out, the bass could drop out, you know, everything but the bass note could drop out. Like there's all kinds of little sort of things. Maybe it's on beat 4, maybe it's on beat 3, but just a short kind of, so build up the intensity, kick everything out, and then kick everything in can work quite well. But I did wonder whether when it kicks in, if like, I like the energy of it, but maybe like it sort of needs to have that tempo. But does the bass need to be as busy? Or so sometimes it can have the change of tempo, but not be quite as busy, so that it hints at the tempo before it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that you've got a change of tempo, but not everything has to change in how fast it's going. Do you know what I mean? But obviously the beat's changed, but you know, if that makes sense.
No,
that
makes sense, absolutely. And it's funny, I've used that kind of drop in the past, so dropping everything out for a beat and boom back in. And I kind of got to a point where I was like, I'm using this in every song, but I haven't used it in a while. So maybe good to revisit that. I think I need to have that busyness. I need to have that tempo change because the verses are quite sparse. And hopefully it does kind of evoke that kind of midnight, you know, what's going on in the world, everything's so silent. So I think having the choruses when they do come in like that, it's working really well at the moment. It's just that little bit. And then I think what you're saying combined, you know, what everybody said, just a mash of that, it can probably work something afterwards. So this is useful. I usually come on here with 30 seconds of something, just go, let's listen to this and see how it goes. But I genuinely wanted to get that constructive feedback tonight, and this
I think it's really good.
Helpful.
It is really good. I mean, I know I struggled with some similar things on Eternal Overdrive, my track, because like that definitely goes. The half time's quite big in it, and then it goes to the sort of 4 on the floor. So yeah, I know that kind of feeling when you want it to go from one to the other, but it's quite hard to make it do that and feel natural and feel like, oh, I'm happy with that change, you know. And like you say, you don't want it sort of like Andrew says, like sort of can feel like two separate kind of you know, styles. But if you get it right, it won't feel like that. It will just feel like a musical change that carries you along, and then you know you've got the song right, I think, you know.
Nice one. And thanks for picking up on the snare, because every time I listen to it, I'm like, is that snare too much? I don't know. And nobody's ever mentioned it before, and I'm like, maybe nobody's saying that.
It's not too much.
That's cool, man. That's cool.
This is synthwave. It can never be too much on the snare.
All right, cheers, guys.
Excellent. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, Neon Highway, for sharing. Just before we move on to Valley Lights, we have a viewer on YouTube. So, Not Another Whiskey Show says, Valley Lights, big up all artists. So there's a shout out there. Thank you for tuning in. So yes, Valley Lights. What have we got coming up, buddy?
So this is a finished track. This is off my debut album, Two Lane Highway, which came out September 29th. And I had sent you another track before, and then you were like, "Oh, it's the Christmas special. So if you have any like Christmas stuff," and I was like, "Christmas synthwave? What the hell? Like, is that a thing?" And then I was like, "Oh, wait a minute! I have a song where I actually talk about Christmas." And so I sent that one to you. It's called California.
Fantastic, mate. Yes, synthwave and Christmas. I actually released a Christmas song last year, and if I weren't releasing other music, I would be promoting it. And Tim did as well. We set each other a challenge, I believe. We had this conversation last year and released Christmas songs. So,
Oh, that's awesome! That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'd say, well, audience listening, I'll put links to both of our Christmas songs in the episode descriptions. Because I'd like to get some more plays on it. To be honest, it's sort of like in the wilderness of musical releases at the moment. I think there's a music video, or there might be. Anyway, I digress. Here we go. So this is Valley Lights, California.
We spent Christmas in Mexico under blue skies and white mountain snow. I loved you, baby, but your heart kept getting colder. Now I'm always warm 'cause I'm back in California. I'm coming back to you, yeah. California.
Cool, man. That chorus, it's got the bass line of what it reminds me of a song called, what is it? She's got the look, I think it is. She's got the look, and it's that thing.
Oh,
In
yeah.
It's Savage Garden.
Is it
Oh,
Savage
Savage
Garden?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Did you
The
know the song
Bristol
I mean
band.
then? Can you hear it
Yeah.
in the chorus? Yeah, man. Which is a good thing because that's a very, very
I
catchy
could
hook.
make
Man.
It was very well.
Yeah.
produced.
Oh no, I never thought about that, but yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I do this on every episode. Somebody will play a song and I'll hear something and I can never pick out what song it is. But
Great
I've actually
vocal
done
on
this
it.
time.
Great vocal. Yeah, I like it.
Yes.
Yeah. Vocals amazing, man.
Oh, thank you.
Let's sling it around the room. So, Andrew, do you want to Rogue Effects? What are your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, well, I love Valley Light stuff. So no surprise to me that it's so good. It's a little bit more, vocally proper powerhouse on that, isn't it? You're really going for it on that. And then some of the songs are a little bit more subdued that you've released, but I think that was really good. Loved it. It's got that a lot of your stuff's got that widescreen type of feel to it, open roads and all of that kind of thing, but with
Yeah.
the 80s style. And no, it's really good. Is that going to be a single or?
No plans to do it as a single, but I have been kicking around the idea of doing, if we do another music video, that one. But yeah, people really love that song, and it's kind of crazy to me because I think that was the hardest song for me to write on the album because it's so like major key and in your face. Like I remember when I was working with this producer and he kicked it over to me and I was just like, what am I gonna do with this? Because I was like, I'm into the like sort of melancholic synthwave stuff, and then this is just like, this is in your face, and I was like, okay, like challenge accepted, and it took me a long time. Yeah, but it got there, and I'm really happy with it.
Yeah. No, not do a video because if it's anything like your last video, obviously that was, excellent. That definitely went the extra mile to most of the videos you see in the,
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
But really good. Enjoyed it.
No, yeah, thank you. I appreciate all your feedback, Andrew, man, and I'm a big fan of yours as well. Thank you.
Cool, excellent. Let's swing it around. Neon Highway, what are your thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, it was great, man. Sorry, it's coming off mute there. Yeah, fantastic. Like the vocals just are so amazing. They just stand out, and they just build and build. And it's like you said, writing it in that major key. I think often it's really hard to write a good song in a major key. It's easy to go down the sad route. It's easy to go down a minor key and do that. But I suppose you if you're going for Christmas, you kind of want it to be upbeat. And do you know what? I love the fact that from where you are and just the whole theme of the song, California, and it's such a bright, joyful song. I can't imagine a Christmas song in Scotland being that bright, I would definitely be going for a minor key. But yeah, it's tremendous. What is? I was curious as to what synth you're using on that bass there when it kicks in. The one that we know which bit is talking about, because it's just it sounds brilliant.
You know, to be honest with you, man, like I'm really more of a songwriter. Like I write all this stuff on acoustic guitar or electric guitar mostly, and then unfortunately I'm not like super knowledgeable about the synth stuff. I have a great guy over in France that I linked up with, and he put that one together after we sort of kicked around like the skeletal thing I put together. So unfortunately, I can't give you the answer, but
that's cool.
I could probably dig his brain if you want me to.
It's a good sound, man. And do you find, is that how you always write your songs? Do you start with acoustic guitar?
Yeah, pretty much. Or like I'm very much a vocalist and like a lyricist, and so either I get a skeleton thing, or I'll just like, I have two producers that I work with primarily, and I'll just kind of talk about like what I want or send them a reference track or something. And I don't know, I just kind of went into this whole project, which was pretty new, and I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna write, like, whether I like the song. And like, you know, California is a great example. I don't know if I would have written to it, but I just said, no, like, you're gonna write to it. Maybe you're not feeling it. I don't care if you're feeling it. You're gonna write to it. And so I work with these producers. I write stuff on my own, and I just try to make a habit of whatever I get, I'm gonna turn it into a song. Maybe it's a good song, maybe it's a bad song. At the end of the day, I don't care. I'm writing, I'm making music, and that's making me happy. So that's kind of like that's what I do.
Yeah, man, that's cool when it comes across. As I said, such a joyful vibe. Really good stuff. Love it.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that.
You could put that song. That could be a rock song, just as all guitars, just as easily as a synth-based song, and it would probably sound brilliant. And that's maybe the way you write. You're writing away from the synth, and that's maybe why that's it's like that.
Yeah.
So
well, maybe we'll have to do a remix. Yeah.
Could be a one for the remix album.
I could make you a rock version. I can hear that.
Yeah, I was gonna say Aisle 9. Aisle 9 came to my attention because he was playing guitar on a track that Mark put out, and he was killing it. And so that would be sick.
I'll get a shameless plug there. That song's coming out on my EP on December the 8th. It's called Lost and Found, and it features R9. So do look out for that. But yeah, nice segue there. Let's go with R9's feedback.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I've got a full 6.5 hour playlist called Going to California. I may have a slight obsession with songs that have California in the title. So there we go. So you might just be added to that playlist very shortly. Not to say that anyone follows it. It's just me. So there we go. But like, I don't know. It's like, I think it's because I come from a part of the world where California is a mythical place that I've never been to, that, is beautiful and full of sunshine, and the girls look great. But like, we all know that like life is probably not quite the same as that. But like, I really like the song. It's got a great, I think you work with a major key really well, which is really difficult. And I just go, oh no, when a major key turns up, it's just going to sound, really sort of, cheesy if you're not careful. But like, I think you work really well with that, and the lyrics work well. And I can really hear what Rogue Effects is saying about like the rock thing. I mean, obviously the synth wave and rock kind of do sit together, and like there is a kind of common thread, and 80s rock particularly, and that kind of sort of thing, 80s synth pop, and like they do meld together. I mean, I know I was desperately upset in the 80s when, like, I was really into rock music and hated synth music at all. I thought everything to do with synths was terrible in the 80s when it was actually happening. But like, looking back, there are lots of great examples of bands that use both, like throughout the 80s, it's Tears for Fears or whoever it would be, who use fantastic amounts of amazing synths and great guitar work as well. So I can sort of, I mean, I can, in my producer head, hear things like, with a song, like that I can almost sort of think, oh, that'd be interesting, or that'd be interesting. But I thought it was really strong the way it is. It's got a real energy and a really good, I think the bones of it is good writing underneath it. It's good lyrics, good melody, and that's what, you know. You can put all kinds of different production on something like that, but like, I think the thing is, because it's got a good energy and the vocal and the melody are really strong and the singing's really strong, it just carries and works. So you could probably do it 10 different ways and they'd probably all be good. But you know, I really enjoyed it, really did. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
Right up
no,
there.
thank you. I mean, I'm a rock guy. I'm a rock guy at heart. I grew up on rock and metal, and yeah, I've heard Mark, you talk about this. You came from a metal background too.
Yeah, man.
Um,
On my
Well-
EP that I'm releasing soon, it's got a lot of well, all three out of the 4 tracks, like R9 plays lead guitar on one. They've all got lead guitar, so 100%.
Yeah.
Rock and metal.
yeah, no, I have a lot of ripping guitar solos, and I mean, for me, synthwave was a great space where you can just let all that crazy shit out, you know, whether it's
Yeah.
saxophone or just ridiculous guitar. Like I just love how over the top it is, and that's what I love about it. You really are free to do whatever you want. And yeah, California is a little bit more on the rock side, but yeah, I mean, I'll always have guitar and guitar solos in my stuff because that's where I come from.
Yes. That's what I'd like to hear. Sub Neon, your feedback, buddy.
Well, I don't think there's anything left that I can say, to be honest, apart from it was awesome. I mean, it's really, really catchy. I loved it. I think it reminded me a little bit of John Bon Jovi. I don't know why, but you know,
You are not the first person that has said that to me.
and I mean that in a good way. You know, I mean, John Bon Jovi has written some crap, but no, this is amazing. And I guess I'd be really interested to know what you do with your vocal chain, because it blends so nicely. And yeah, so rather than me talking about it, I'm gonna bounce it back to you. Can you tell me about what you do with it?
I'm gonna have to defer again here. Like I told Mark, I was like, I'm not a producer, man. I'm a fucking songwriter. I have this great guy. He his name is Matthias. He's in Argentina. He produced about half the tracks on the album. and he's just my dude, man. Like he takes it to this place where, like, this whole project for me, man, was about adaptation. And I had to say, these are not my skills, like mixing, mastering, all of that shit. Like, I'm a songwriter. That's what I do, and that's what I want to focus on. And so instead of trying to like do everything myself, I just found really awesome people to do it and work with. And that's why this is the first project I did that I'm super happy with, because like I didn't make myself do everything. And because of that, I found good people to work with. And yeah, I mean, I think it's important to accept your strengths and your weaknesses. And that's kind of what I did for this whole project. And that's why it's not, I mean, I'm not bragging here, but I don't feel like it's mediocre. I feel like most of the other music I've ever done has been extremely mediocre, either from a writing or just a sonic perspective, mixing, mastering, production. And, you know, I think it's just important to understand that about ourselves. And so when I was able to put a team around myself, like that's how we got here.
Yeah, wise words, mate. I think those are really good. I think knowing where your strengths and weaknesses are, and then not being afraid to outsource and ask for help, essentially, and I love what you say about having a team. I think that's brilliant, and having a team of people. I know I regularly reach out to the same people and ask for critique and feedback on stuff I'm working on. You could also almost see that like a team, you know, everyone's helping out, and 100% like that. And it's great having an artist on.
A lot of
someone
back and forth, don't we?
Yes, exactly, yeah. It's great having someone who's just purely like that songwriter artist on the show.
I mean, yeah, I was like kind of, I don't know, holding my breath for a little bit on coming on the show, because I had heard you guys talk, and I'm like, all these guys are so fucking smart, and they all know about side chains and snares and all this shit. And I was like, what am I going to contribute? But no, I really appreciate all your guys' insight. And I mean, I would like to get to a technical level, but I'm not there right now. And so I just kind of have to accept what I can do. But like, I mean, I love that you guys all have this knowledge, and I really appreciate it so much.
I say, mate, just keep doing what you're doing. You know, that's what I would do. Just keep doing what you're doing. In the interest of time, but huge thank you, Valley Lights, Kai. That was brilliant, man.
Thank you. Thank you guys.
Yeah. So now we're gonna go. Actually, just gonna go over to YouTube because Russell Nash. I don't know what I was of my speech today. Russell Nash is in the chat, and he says, "Me too." I'm assuming he's referring to the metal and rock link there. Because I'm a bit behind.
Yeah, Russell.
Yeah. Rogue Effects. Andrew, what have we got coming up, buddy?
Well, you know, I was hoping you wouldn't come to me after Kai's vocal. You know, I really, I was thinking, oh, well, give it a break before I go to mine. I cannot sing like that. This one that's coming up is very unusual. It's a collab. It's a producer called Sign of Crows, which I don't know a lot about, but I'm a little bit like Kai Valley Light in that, you know, production probably isn't, you know, I can get by production, you know, I'm okay at it, but it's not really that much of a strong point. So if the collab comes on, someone's done the music, I can write a song, sing it, happy days, you know, cuts out a lot of the heartache I have to go through when I'm doing a song. So this one a bit different because that happened, but then I've ended up, it's come back to me to add little bits and to mix it. So struggling with the mix a little bit. The bass is very unlike what the kind of bass I'd have in one of my songs. I'm the electro bass. This one's a very low end kind of sub bass, and you know, struggled a bit. It's a drum loop, not individual tracks. So yeah, I've struggled with a mix, but this is it so far. So that's what you're hearing. Collab, yeah. In the Dead of Night, it's called at the moment.
All right, buddy. Let's.
And this is the first verse coming up.
In the blackness, my mind is racing. In the shadows, my beating heart illuminating. Eyes are open, neurons firing, no sleep in sight. From despair to winning, back again. Taste delirium till the bitter end. In the dead of night.
Yeah,
Cool,
that's
man.
it, yeah.
Excellent.
The harmonies are too loud. I can hear that already.
Yeah, it's hard
but-
with this Riverside platform. What you find is it's not a true representation a lot of the time of the music because I believe it might even play it in mono. I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, my initial thoughts are I think your snare sounds quite quiet to the kick, and the kick's quite prominent in that mix in itself. But I think it sounds really
and
good.
as
And
I
the
say, it's a
synths
loop.
as well.
It's a loop.
Oh,
So
is it? Oh,
I can't do
cool shit.
anything about that
Yeah,
at the
you
moment.
did say, didn't you? You did say it
Yeah.
might be worth then just picking that apart and then just programming it yourself, so you've got more control over the individual. elements
Yeah,
of
I
it.
can't
think-
either because it's the mix. It's you know, the way it works in Cubase is you import the tracks and everything has to be played live over it. It just I can't get it to, you know, just go on and quantize. You can't quantize or anything like that. It's just not working. So all of the bits I've added, I've just had to track and put to the grid as
Yeah.
best I can. But yeah, I might get into. I have got in touch with him and said, look, is there any way you can split out the bass because there's a synth on the bass track, like so maybe you can split them out. But I think it's a loop because I did ask that before.
Yeah, it's having that
So,
flexibility of control,
Yeah,
isn't it?
I'm hoping something can be done in the mastering stage.
Pop. I can see Tim shaking his head. That was my initial thought. Was yeah. I mean, yeah. I'll pass it over to Tim. Yeah. What are your thoughts, R9?
Yeah, I think there's a good song in there. I immediately could hear the song. It's like I think yeah, when it's always difficult that when you're mixing something and what you've got isn't what you need and isn't quite right. Yeah, or when you're importing it into your software and it's not all lining up, you're having problems with technical problems and it's just not, you know. I mean, you know, do fire me a message if you want my help. I might be able to sort of sort it out or whatever, but like so that it works in your Cubasis. But like, you know, I'm a Cubase user, but not a Cubasis user. But like, Yeah, it's it's very difficult if everything isn't making sense in your DAW, and I know those kind of projects can be difficult. I think it is that kind of thing of, as Mark said, of getting the drums right and then the bass sitting right with them taking up a. I mean, I'm never afraid at that point. If I don't like something, just rewrite it. So I'm just like, no, sod that. I don't like the drums. No, sod that. The bass isn't right. I'll just rewrite it. If it's not working, or indeed go back to the other person and see if they can't provide me with the right things. And sometimes that's what you have to do to get it, right. And I mean, then you obviously, as you're saying, like you can hear things with the vocal levels, maybe to get them sitting right, and then just the synths to sort of fill out that gap underneath them a bit more, because they seem sort of too separate at the moment. But I don't think it's miles away if you've got the elements to just balance up. And I do hear a good synth pop song going on in there. It really is. So I like the song. Definitely straight away I could hear a catchy song in there. And I like the vocal, actually. I like the way the vocal works on it. It's good melody on there. It's nice. So I think don't despair. The mix is probably just in need of a bit of fixing, but don't leave it to your mastering engineer either, because he's not going to be happy.
Yes,
especially if he was me.
That'd be a tricky one, wouldn't it? I mean,
it would be tricky. Although AI stuff is getting crazy now, with the way that you can like take a mix that someone sent you and just like literally divide it into stems, and have the drums, the bass, and the vocal, even from a stereo track. It's crazy. So I mean, not ideal, but like still, it's crazy where that kind of stuff is heading. So
it's interesting you mentioned that, because I saw a post. Now I don't know if this was true or not. It may have been one of those fake news posts, but I'm sure it said, and it was a caption, and it was where someone says, and it was actual AI, a bot, giving feedback on a mix, telling them what to do to improve their mix. Actual feedback, so saying, I cannot remember the exact what it said. It was something along the lines of like, your snare needs to have a drop in this particular frequency range because it's clashing with this. And I was like, surely not. Surely, I mean, if that. But then again, once again, you're at the limit, or you're at the mercy of this vast data set that this AI is churning through. So it's not always going to be correct. Anyway, I was just mentioning that because I saw it and I thought, wow, actual written feedback telling you how to fix a mix. But I would much rather send it. Yeah, well, yes. I'd much rather send it to someone and just have their ears. But there you go. That's me. Let's go round the room. Kai, Valley Lights. What are your thoughts, buddy?
I thought it was very cool, man. And Andrew just dropped a very cool rendition of People Are Strange by The Doors, who I love. And so shout out to you for doing that. The thought had crossed my mind to do the same. So good on you.
All right.
I mean, I'm not really going to go into the technicalities of the drums and things, but I think from a songwriting perspective, I think you're on the right track. And like the first thing you said was like, oh, I hope you're not going to put me up because Kai just did his thing. But you know what? Like, we all have our own voices, and I mean, I'm still getting used to my own. So I think just be comfortable with what you're doing, because what you're doing has a great signature sound to it, and people are going to enjoy your voice, and as long as you just keep doing it. And I mean, every time I listen to my vocals, I'm just like, oh my god, what the hell am I doing? But no, I mean, I just want to say, like, just keep doing it, bro, and you're doing a great job. And I think just keep writing. And my personal opinion is to not just to get caught up on things too much. Like, you have to pay attention, but write the song, get it to where you want it, get your vocals where you want them, and move on to the next one. That's how you progress, and that's how you evolve. So I mean, great job.
Yeah, good advice. Mark, I just want to say I'm on 3%. I was on 60 when I started, but it's shooting down. I'm only on 3%, so I might have to join on my phone.
Oh wow!
If I drop out, you know why it is. I'll just join on my phone.
Yeah, no problem, mate. No problem at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does rinse the battery, I guess, a bit. This platform. I know
Yeah.
my old MacBook Pro, when I used to use that, it would sound like it was taking off next to me. But now I've got this delicious Mac Studio down on the floor here, so I'm not bragging. Sub Neon, what are your thoughts, buddy?
Well, I mean, I really like it, and I'm kind of in awe, to be honest, because I've been trying to write vocals and recording vocals for probably 6 months now, and none of it is good enough to release, and not from a writing point of view, not from a mixing point of view. So I mean, I can hear that it could probably glue together a little bit better, but other than that, I mean, it sounds great. And you know, one of my favorite vocalists is Mike Patton from Faith No More. And I remember an interview of him saying that it doesn't really matter what you're saying. I don't really care about the lyrics per se. It's about where you place the syllables and stuff like that. That's kind of a deviated version from what he actually said, but that was kind of the point, that it was about where you place the intonation, rather
the emphasis,
than else. And it's yeah, absolutely. And I can hear that really, really cleanly in what you've written. So other than, you know, maybe gluing it together with some compression or something like that, like I said, I bought Waves Harmony and all sorts of other vocals VSTs, still can't make it sound good. So I don't think I've got any real advice to add, but I think from where you are at the minute, it sounds great.
Yeah, thank you.
Carl, Neon Highway.
Yeah, it sounds good, man. Much what the other guys have said, you know, and also what Kai was saying about your cover of The Doors. It's a fantastic cover. The only thing I would add to this current one is that I'm a big fan of kind of the synths, keyboards, and stuff in the background, creating their own melodies, their own counter melodies. And there is a keyboard that you've got going on there that sounds like some of the stuff Kraftwerk were doing in the 80s rather than the 70s, which is really melodic. But it's melodic in the background, but it's without that, it's kind of lacking something in the song. And you've got it there. I just think that probably needs to come up a bit in the mix.
No, that's why I added that.
Yeah, there's
a bit in because it was a bit sparse.
There's some beautiful kind of keyboards that are doing that counter melody in the background, and you know, just handing off from the vocals to the keyboards in those gaps in the song just keeps it going. And you've already got it. I think it's just getting the mix right. But and I'm sure you'll get there. You know, it's all part of the process. But once you end up with that final mix, I'm looking forward to hearing that.
All right, cheers, mate. Thank you. You're mute, Mark.
I was just letting you say it.
You know, I did that last time.
Got you back eventually.
Yeah. The last time I did that. All right, here we go. R9, the final one. Here we go. What have we got coming up?
Right, this one is called Our Sun-Kissed Dreams, I believe.
Smooth.
So that was just titled about half an hour ago or whenever, like before the show. I just kind of like my missus and I were going over it, and yeah, she's very creative, so she was helpful there, and we just like listening to it and trying to think what the track was. I guess it's a chill wave kind of esque sort of, you know, vibe in it, or heading in that direction, and certainly more chilled than some of my tracks. But like, yeah, I mean, you know, you're probably in an open top car heading down somewhere coastal when you're listening to this. It's got that 80s nostalgic thing going on in it, those kind of vibes, yeah, it's a sort of quite a simple tune in some ways, but like, yeah, I think it's going to be a new single for me. I don't know whether I'm going to release it now before Christmas or after, because, you know, things get chewed up a little bit around Christmas time. But like, you know, yeah, I might just release it sort of straight in the new year. But like, yeah, I sort of just thought I'd move a little bit more like into the chilled sort of territory and sort of see how it goes down, really.
Excellent, mate. I noticed it's a longer file. Do you want me to play it from the beginning, or is there a particular?
Yeah, just play it from the beginning, see how you go.
man. In the interest of fairness, I could listen to that all the way through because I love lead guitar, and I could have kept playing that. But I was like, in the interest of fairness, I'll stop it there. But are you gonna have vocals on that? Because I could hear like you could have that sort of guitar motif that you've got going on there, and then the vocals come in there.
Oh, you couldn't you?
That's what I'm. That's
You're
what
right,
I.
actually.
That's, I was.
No, you are
expecting-
right, actually.
Yeah, I was expecting the guitar
I-
to cut out, and then obviously it's
Mm.
new, and then I would expect the vocal to come in there. That's my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, I mean, it's a great idea because it could work as a vocal track, and I have not written that. I've written something else, but you know, it is instrumental all the way through. But
2 versions.
I entirely can hear that. Yeah, 2 versions or yeah. You've made me think I should maybe try it as a vocal track as well because it could work like that. Yeah,
Yeah, that lead is really nice. Like that, just that the repeating of that lead, and then going into the vocal, and then you could have the chorus, and then before you go back into the second verse, just have that lead again, going back into the next verse.
Yeah, as a sort of hook. Yeah,
100%, man. That's what I thought. But no, I love it, mate. Love it. Lovely stuff. Let's go, Carl, Neon Highway. What do you think, buddy?
Yeah, it was great, man. Usual quality from yourself, Tim. It sounded amazing. Great vibe, like you said. You know, that kind of coastal highway drive, just beautiful. I feel towards, you know, as you're developing a song, when you get to the end, it's going to have some sort of crescendo into a really sort of euphoric kind of, you know, lots of sort of stuff twinkling away. Kind of almost you suggested it right from the get-go with what you've got going on there. But I think that almost could sort of open up a bit more towards the end of the song when you get there. But sounds beautiful, man. Sounds really good.
Thank you.
Cool. Andrew, Rogue Effects. What do you think, mate?
Yeah, I mean, Tim knows absolutely, you know, idolizes guitar work, absolutely brilliant. And, you know, that had made that absolutely brilliant. It's kind of Pink Floyd, I think. It just floats over the music, doesn't it? It's just really just effortless, and it just, I loved it. Yeah. I mean, it could work as instrumental, it could work as a vocal track. I mean, if you've knocked that up in just one night, you know, absolutely not worthy. It's not really, really, really good. Loved it.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And Dave Gilmour, not worthy, you know, but that's amazing. That's amazing. I completely love his music. So, you know, I mean, yeah, I definitely, if I can get, I mean, I am influenced by him, whether or not, like, you know, Mark has said I'm the Dave Gilmour of Watch It, but like, you know, it's definitely that sort of thing of guitars being melodic, really, and soulful and emotional, rather than, you know, just being a million notes in a bar, you know. I've definitely had that in a few other tracks, and I think I quite like that idea of. I know there's some other people out who are doing that as well. Like I've heard in their synthwave as well, and I think it's definitely in the genre. But there is also quite a lot of more sort of 80s shred kind of guitar in synthwave, which, don't get me wrong, I think can work beautifully and sound really good. But like, yeah, I guess I definitely sort of head in a different direction. Yeah. So if it gets the feels, that's good.
Yeah.
I think
does.
that description of like floating, it's part of the mix. It's coherent and it's within the context of the mix, but it just sort of like Andrew said, it kind of just floats on top. And I think that's a great description of it. And yeah, really, really nice guitar play, man. It's having you. I'm gonna plug my own music again, but on Lost and Found, which is out on December the 8th, my new EP, which Tim is part of, on that particular track, you can hear that in evidence there. It's absolutely delightful. But let's go around. Sub Neon, what are your thoughts, buddy?
As you might expect, I think it's amazing. I think you know, art has this kind of weight to your mixes that I just love, you know, and it kind of, and you were saying this in the last podcast, it's got a really immersive feel to it. I think the thing I heard, and I don't know how achievable this might be with your with your network, I don't know if you know a musician called Chino Marino, who's the singer from Deftones, and he did a side project called Crosses, which is amazing. If you haven't heard it, I really recommend you listen to it. and it's kind of really clean reverb soaked with kind of that reverse reverb type thing that kind of leads various different lines into it. I can hear a vocal that is quite ethereal that goes over the top of that. So yeah, that would be my only suggestion. But it from a point of view, it sounds beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. I like that ethereal vocal idea. Yeah, interesting. I mean, I like the fact that vocals are obviously being bandied around as might work on this, which is definitely. I definitely ought to look at that. Yeah.
I think that's a great shout. Changing the House of Flies by Deftones, man.
Yeah.
That
Deftones.
Sort of,
I like the Deftones. Yeah.
That sort of style. That really, Gino Marini's got a great voice, man. It's a great shout. I'm going to check out Crosses as well. That's going to be my theme of tomorrow, I think. Valley Lights,
Drop
Kai.
a line, see what he's up to.
The first thing I want to say is I think you got a strong candidate for your California playlist with that one, man. Like I it definitely, what I love about synthwave is for me it just paints these pictures, right? So like like that song Cruising into the Sunset, I totally see that. And I first learned about you as a guitar player, so I definitely, I mean, for me, there are times when you put that ripping solo kind of in the middle, and it's like, this is the solo. But on that track, it's so chill, and it's like moving into the distance for me. It almost has one of those solos that comes in, and it doesn't even have an ending lick necessarily. It just kind of just cruises out as the track fades out. And I think you could do some really cool guitar stuff on there as it sort of, because it builds and then it sort of fades, and I really could hear that, as you're just cruising on into the distance.
Yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, I mean, I love outros. They're just and guitar-drenched outros are amongst the best. I love that kind of vibe in outros in general, in fades, where you sort of feel like the band were just continuing on and couldn't give a fuck, and like they just had to fade them out because they just really got on one. As the track went on, they got more and more into it, and then they just went, oh shit, we're just gonna have to pull the fader down on this because like we've got 20 minutes of it and no one will buy it. And I kind of like that vibe because in those fades you get that feeling that everyone is just losing themselves in the music, and it's going, and yet you don't get to hear all of that. You just know that it's going on and it's disappeared. But like that's a nice sort of thing that almost in your, you can imagine that in a room somewhere that music is still going, that vibe is still going on. So I quite like that in fades. Yeah.
No, that's exactly it. I mean, when it doesn't end completely, that song is still going on somewhere. You just can't hear it anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's great.
Quite like in fades, yeah.
But great job, man.
Thank you, man. Thanks very much.
Fantastic, gents. It's been a brilliant showcase of music, as always. I'm just going to go over to YouTube, and we've got Midnight Void says, jolly holiday, everybody. Season's greetings. Russell Nash says, some nice lead guitar work again, Tim. Definitely some Gilmour influence in there. So big shout out to everybody who's joined us on YouTube. Folks, it's now the opportunity to give yourself a shout out and where our audience can find you. So I'm just going to go around on my screen here. So Valley Lights, where's the best place our audience can find you online?
Thank you so much for having me, Mark, and to everybody else. It's really great. I'm on Instagram primarily, but I'm on all the socials. My debut album, Two Lane Highway, came out September 29th. We just released the music video for the Fleetwood Mac cover of Dreams. That came out about a week ago at this point. That is on my YouTube as well as my record label, Outland Recordings YouTube channel. But go stream the album, go buy the CD, go buy the cassette on Bandcamp, and enjoy the music. And thank you guys so much.
Thanks, buddy. No, it's a pleasure having you here as well, and hopefully you'll return in the new year with us again.
I hope to.
Yes, please do. Sub Neon, where can our audience find you, buddy?
Everywhere that all my 300 followers that yeah, I could do with some more. All roads point to my website, subneon.net, and I thought I would give Isle9 a bit of a nudge because my next single is called Blood Dance, which will be coming out as soon as he's mastered it. So yeah, I will shut up now. Thank you.
Fantastic. And R9.
Yeah, you can find me at R9 Music when I'm not sitting at my desk mastering other people's music. Yeah, no, at R9 Music is sort of on Instagram would be the best place to find me probably, but I'm on all the socials, even on TikTok. So, you know, you can find me at R9 Music. But if you're on X, then I'm at R9 Synthwave, but I'm also at R9 Music. I just never. Okay.
To be fair, I'm the same with X. There's only so many hours in the day. Neon Highway.
Yeah, just Instagram at Neon Highway Synth, then everything links off from there. New track, which got a bit off tonight after hours, should be coming out, I reckon, about January, just once I kind of finish up. So looking forward to getting that.
Yeah, fantastic. Excellent. And Rogue Effects, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm confusingly on Instagram as Rogue Effects Retrowave, and on the others I'm Rogue Effects Synth or Rogue Effects Synthwave. I couldn't make my mind up, I think, and it's just so not a lot of consistency on the socials, but I'm on them all. And yeah, just all the digital stores as well, Bandcamp. So yeah, if you want to find Rogue Effects, you can. I'm on all those places.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you, everyone. And audience listening, if you want to participate in a producer's pub, I might be renaming it in the new year. I haven't decided yet. Head over to insidethemixpodcast.podia.com or insidethemixpodcast.com when I get my ass around to actually releasing the website. Alternatively, you can click on the link in the episode description and get on board. I know I have put the date in for January, so that is available. Just need to fill out the rest of the calendar. Gents, it's been a pleasure, and have a great Christmas when it arrives, and I will catch up with you all soon.
Yeah. Cheers, everyone.
Have a good one.
See you later.